Nah, I've been writing since I wrote my first piece of writing when I was 10.
Yeah.
I've been writing through my teens and 20s and 30s, but I was in a retail business for 20 years while I wrote. And, I actually didn't make a lot of money at writing until I was in my 40s. And
Okay.
writing can be difficult to break out. But once it broke out, I sold millions of novels from from the first 5 to 7 years that my books were coming out, and signed a deal in Hollywood. First got Sony Pictures in 2016. Wrote an option and offered to buy my book series to make a TV series, and I ended up declining that deal because another company bought it with a higher amount of money involved and more potential. So now it is with my Sarah Roberts series has 27 books in the series. 27th book comes out in March. And in one book series, 27, I've written other series and other standalones. But anyway, that Sarah Roberts series is now with Mad River Pictures in Hollywood as they are in pre-production for a TV series.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
It's very
Ah,
exciting stuff.
what? Yeah. That's wonderful. Now, let me ask you a question. How many books have you written up now? Since you talked about you were writing from 10, and I see you are already now a big person.
I have written 40. Serada?
40 books.
Nene.
Sarada. Sarada in Greek.
Serada Biblia.
So let me ask you, what made you write in the first? What made you write your first, very, very first book at 10?
I was a very big reader. I was mystified by books. Um, when I first started, it all came from this. I was reading picture books when I was 4, 5, 6 years old. And then I looked at a book one day and there were no pictures. It was only text, page after page. And I remember asking, where are the pictures? How do you know what's happening? And I was told at like 6 or 7 years old, the pictures are hidden. And I thought, oh, that's so neat. Where are they? And they said, well, when you read the page, the pictures will form in your mind. So I was pretty mystified by that. I remember reading a couple pages and I started to see the action. So that's what drew me into books right away. I can't wait to see what each page will hold. And then I realized by the time I was 9 or 10 years old that I wanted to do that. I wanted to create images and pictures with words. And so I started writing stories. And it's a passion of mine. I can't stop writing. I actually write so much that I wrote 9 full-length novels last year.
How many?
9.
9 novels in 1 year.
Nah, last year. 6 was
Oh,
my maximum before that. I of the nine
that's
books,
almost
I
that,
of the nine
that's
books,
almost
seven
one
have
book per month.
nah. Of the nine
Uh-huh.
books, 7 have been published to rave reviews. Most are at 5 star on Amazon, and 2 are at publishers, waiting to come out.
Oh,
One's coming out later this year, and the other one I don't have a date yet.
oh, wow, that's
And
that's
I'm
wonderful.
already finishing my first book for 2021.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So where are you from? Because someone may be here and does not know where you are from.
I am from Toronto, Canada.
Hmm. Okay, and now you are in Athens, Greece,
Correct.
and you are you just write from anywhere. When you are in Canada, you are writing. When you are in Greece, you are writing. You how many countries have you written in? I mean, have you been to and writing there?
About 12. I lived in Italy for a year. I lived in Hungary. I've lived in Denmark for 6 months at one point. I'm different parts of Canada. I've been to the U.S. Everything from Florida to California. I've been to Los Angeles, Las Vegas. I travel a lot. North Carolina just last year. I'm always writing wherever I go. I have too many stories, and I just have to keep going.
Oh, wonderful. That seems quite an interesting journey. I mean, you're always on the move and writing.
No, no, no.
What would you tell to someone who is just about thinking to start on writing?
Well, a very common piece of advice, but it seems new writers need to hear it often, and that is persevere. Keep going. Um, Write something every day. I believe in that. Even if you can only get 20 minutes out of your day to write, if you're starting nonfiction or fiction, or you're just writing in a journal, it's, whether it's hobby or you want to make it a profession, it's not a problem. But if you're going to do it and you are, interested or passionate about it, I really feel you need to do it daily. The reason is I believe writing is like a muscle, and you go when you want to build a muscle, you want to build a
Mm-hmm.
bicep or a pectoral. You go to the gym and you pump iron, and often you do different muscle groups throughout different days. I think writing
Yeah.
is the same. You really got to go, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. I know this because I've experienced it. For instance, my first draft of my very first novel took almost 2 years. And I realized if I wanted to get successful in this business, which is a dream of mine at the time, was I needed to write a book faster. So my second book took me 8 months. And then I
Uh-huh.
realized, okay, I've got to go faster. So I was able to write a novel in 2 months. And then I realized I got to turn this up. I got to keep going faster. So I started writing all day, every day. And it got to a point where I was able to write a first draft of a 400-page thriller within 3 weeks. And that's just first draft. I mean, a
Mm-hmm.
lot goes into it after that. I've got to take the book now and give it to my editor while I'm working on another book. Then that one comes back, and then I do the edits, and then it goes to beta readers and proofreaders and copy editors. The book goes through a very long process, but the first draft only takes me 2 to 3 weeks now. That's why I can write 8 or 9 books in a year.
Oh, wonderful. Now, we come when it comes to publishing, do you self-publish or are you? How did you find your first publisher? Are you still sticking with your first publisher? I mean, would like to know.
Sure, sure. Um, I'm what they call a hybrid author, where
Mm-hmm.
I do self publish, but I also have a literary agent who represents me and has or does I have books that are published traditionally. Um,
Okay.
Originally, I couldn't get an agent. I couldn't get a publisher in the beginning. So in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
I started with self publishing. I was a self publisher for 5 years,
Okay.
and then I had some great success. I had outranked Stephen King on Amazon's charts. Actually, I just did a TikTok about that earlier today,
Okay.
and it's on my wall
Yes.
now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was already in Hollywood. I already had representation in Hollywood, and I'd already sold 2 million books and outranked Stephen King on Amazon's charts without a literary agent, without representation, without a publisher. That's
Oh.
when I got a call from an agent. I signed with the agent. The agent then went on to sell my books to an Hollywood, to a publisher. Several different publishers have bought several of my books now. So
Okay.
I write so many books though. My agent can't sell 10 books a year from one author. It's
Mm-hmm.
too much. So I continue to self publish my Sarah Roberts series, and every other book I write I give to her.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So, what are the challenges in writing? What are
Time,
the biggest challenges?
time. There's just not enough time. Interruptions. Sometimes when you're working and you've got to deal with something, you got to go. For me, I mean, a simple thing like grocery shopping, and by the time you get up in the morning and you've done your breakfast, and I have a morning workout I do, and by the time I've done all this, now I've got to go grocery shopping. I got to go this. Before I know it, I don't get to my desk till 1 in the afternoon. And those days, those are challenging days because I'm a professional author and I have to work all day. Like a lot of people get up and go to work and they have to report to their office or the factory or whatever for 9 in the morning and they work all day. I'm the same. I've got to get to work and be at my desk. I wear a collared shirt often, and I treat it like a job. Some of the biggest distractions or our life, but you know, it's necessary. But by the time I've gone out and done a few errands and done a few things, I get to my desk. My day's writing time has been constricted. It's smaller. So this is the biggest thing. I just need time. And sometimes when I'm behind on a deadline, I have to turn off everything and just get up and go right to my desk with my morning coffee and don't do anything but write. Otherwise, I don't have
Oh,
a lot of distractions.
oh, wonderful. So let me appreciate one or two people who are on my live as we
Please.
got into the next. First, we have Peter San 123. Hi. Okay, then we have Athanasiu. Thank you, Athanasiu. Rose, let's work in PJ is here and is saying, "Wow, another double live." Yes. Um, in love. Okay. Um, First in and then okay. So we have and those are the people who are on our live. We really appreciate you, each and every one of you, as we continue with this conversation with an established international, very accomplished writer. Now, let me ask you a question. It's your full-time job. You are a writer full-time. You are writing every day, every single day. You have 40 books. You've sold in millions. Does that translate to millions of dollars?
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Several of the, but over 10 years. I've been doing this for 10 years, and um, the one particular deal I have in Hollywood is worth close to that, bigger than that actually. I'm bound by a non-disclosure agreement to I can't discuss certain facets of the contract. But
Yeah.
yes, it does turn into that. That is how I've been able to afford living anywhere I want as often and moving anytime. And so, yes, it does equate to a certain amount of money.
Oh,
Self-publishing enables me with Amazon's income to have a monthly income from Amazon, and my
yeah.
publishers send royalty checks every 6 months. All this today, though, is digitalized. I mean, royalty checks are deposited directly into my PayPal account or my bank account. Amazon's direct into my bank account. So, I mean, I literally can I don't have to wait for a check like in the past. So everything's
Okay.
all deposited, everything's electronic. I have a very
Okay.
fluid cash flow and income.
Oh, that's wonderful. And how long did it take you from the first time from when you published your first book? How long did it take you to become a full-time author?
I was pretty well full time since I've been 30. Part of the reason was, let me explain. I was in retail for 20 years, and the retail I was in, I owned stores that I originally bought and worked in my 20s. And then when they were making a lot of money, I hired the right people, the right managers, and backed out. And that's when my kids were born, and so I stayed home most of the time raising my kids and writing while my stores made their money. I had to check in on the stores once or twice a week, so I was basically semi-retired since I've been 30 and writing. By the time
Mm-hmm.
I hit 38 to 40 years old, I got rid of the stores, and I had enough money that I was able to stay home and just write full time. Now, I was making enough money from writing by 2011. At 2011, I was making enough money to be a stay-at-home author, and then by 2012 or 13, I was making more money as an author than I've ever made before.
Oh, wonderful. So the thing is that it takes time. I want to believe that in
Yeah.
writing, just like any other thing, it takes time.
Bear in mind, sometimes it's a lottery.
Uh-huh.
There have been authors who produce one book and it hits the bestseller charts and they make hundreds of thousands.
Uh-huh.
I actually personally have friends. I have a couple of authors I know, one in particular that had royalty checks of 25,000 per month he was making off one book.
Oh,
So
okay.
sometimes it's a lottery. And also don't forget, one of the richest women in Britain is an author, the Harry Potter series author.
Yeah,
Authors make a lot of money. James Patterson, he makes about $100 million a year.
$100 million a year.
Authors can
Oh,
make a lot of money if they are good
that's,
at what they do.
that's astonishing. So as I prepare my first book, I hope that it becomes a lucky strike. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, we have Rose in the house, and Rose is uh, asking this question: how big has a book got to be? Like, that is, how many pages? If you want to publish a book, about how many pages should it be?
That all depends on several factors, genres.
Yeah.
Sometimes in historical fiction, those novels are a lot longer. It really does depend. Say, for instance, I write thrillers. And so we don't do it so much by pages. We often discuss word length. So I'll give you
Mm-hmm.
an example. A good thriller should be 75,000 words to 90,000 words. Yes, there are thrillers that are 100 or 110,000 words. In fact, I wrote
Mm-hmm.
one thriller that was 150,000 words. So,
Mm-hmm.
but basically the thriller range is 75 to 90. That 90,000 words works out to about 350 pages. So that's for thriller. Nonfiction, I don't know much about nonfiction. I read a lot of nonfiction, but I don't know publishing or word length or page length. But I do know that some fantasy novels are in the 150, 200,000 word length. I know some novels are 400,000 words. We're looking at 900 page novels, 1,500 page novels. They don't need to be that long, but here's the final point on that question. A novel isn't called a novel until it passes the 50,000 range mark, 50,000 words.
Oh, uh-huh.
Anything in the 40 to 50,000 range, it's called a novella. It's not full
Ah,
novel length yet.
oh, it's good to know that. I
Anything
never knew that.
anything under 30,000 words is called a short story.
Ah, okay. So, and that should be on fiction. The short story
Mm-hmm.
falls under fiction. Uh, so,
Correct.
yeah, okay, it's wonderful, wonderful to know that. So, and someone is asking what's the difference? I mean, what's the difference between Greece and Canada? I don't know whether it's still in the on the side of writing, because we are discussing writing today. What is the difference between Canada? Oh, but let me put it this way. You could tell us the difference between Greece and Canada, but you could also tell us the difference between those countries that you visited as still you are, as you are writing. What are the differences? Why should you shift from one place to the other? And yeah, something like that.
Okay. First, let me explain. There are so many differences from country to country. There really are. I mean, Canada to Greece is it's almost like another planet in my opinion. It's so different. Everything from how we drive to how big the streets are compared to Greece's narrow streets. I mean, Greece is older, so it was established thousands of years ago, where Canada is only 153 years old. So, and we have lots of space in Canada. So everything's different. I mean, even Denmark is very different than Greece.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Everything's different from food, way of life, cost of living is a huge factor country to country. It was very expensive for me to live in Denmark. Denmark is very expensive compared to Greece.
Mm-hmm.
Italy's cost of living was a lot. It was on par with Greece, uh, but even in Italy, things were cheaper than it is in Greece, depending on what you were buying. So every country's different, um, but I do feel there's kind of like a mood, country to country, an atmosphere, we'll call it. And Italy and Greece are my top two in the world of all the countries I've been to. I mean, I love Denmark. The people are fantastic. When you go to visit Canada, the people will be fantastic. Everywhere you go, you have good people. I'm sure you have some bad, but I love every country I've been to. I love Canada, but for me, Greece is my favorite country to come to visit. I want to tour Greece, visit the historical sites. I've been to Delphi. I've been to Epidavros. I love going to these places. It's very inspiring to me. I've written 3 books that are set in Greece, and I am writing another one this year. I can't wait to constantly tour. So for me, I just love Greece so much.
Oh, that's good to hear. And if I may ask, what has always triggered you relocating? What is the determining factor that makes you move from one country to the other?
Huh, that's a great question. I don't know if there is an answer there. I think I just get unsettled, or I need a change. But one quick thing, Yanban, I appreciate that so much. I just got a bunch of presents coming through, and I wanted to recognize Yanban for that. Thank you so much. Um, I I'll spend a year or two somewhere. Like I just came from Canada a year and a half ago, and I was only in Canada for a few years. And you know what? I need to go back to Greece, so I buy a plane ticket. Here I am. Um, I never feel I need to leave Greece. There's a difference. Every country I go to, I keep thinking Greece, and I come back here. This is my 3rd trip to Greece. Now I've decided to stay. If I get unsettled and want to change, I'll go to Canada for 2 months, but I live in Greece. I'll go to Italy for 2 months, but I live in Greece. I'll maintain my home here. That's
Oh,
my future. That's my future.
oh,
I love Greece too
good.
much. I love the Greek language, the Greek people, the Greek food, the sunshine. So Greece is now my home, but I will travel a lot.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, good to hear that. And yeah, we are also happy to be here in Greece. I'm in Greece also for some time, and it's a wonderful place. And we'll see how the future goes. And we hope that everything comes out good as we proceed. Now, we have Rose who has a blog. He has a blog about online jobs and things like that. He has quite a bunch of articles and is wondering whether she can transfer her articles into becoming a book. And yes,
Oh, absolutely. So many people have done that, and it has been wonderfully successful for many.
hmm oh, that's good. So maybe she could add up those words and bring it out as a book. We have Russos, not Russos. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Who has a question here? What is your favorite
Okay.
novel? Yeah, what
What
is
is
your
my
favorite
favorite
novel?
novel?
One that you've written? Yep.
Oh, that I've written. Ah, okay. My favorite novel, probably book 1 of the Sarah Roberts series. It was close and dear to my heart when I came up with this idea 20 years ago. And I wrote this book, and it's called Dark Visions. And it's really just about a young girl who's struggling with life, having a hard time, and she starts seeing things that she's so doesn't understand what she's seeing, and then she realizes she's actually seeing future events that take place tomorrow or the day after, and they're scary and daunting, and that's why they're dark visions. And it's a thriller, and it's such a fun book, and it was so much fun to write. And it's season 1. Mad River Pictures is making season 1 of that book for the TV series. It's such a captivating book, and I've had such great reviews. That launched my career, that book. So I would say Dark Visions would be my favorite book. Although the question I thought was, what's my favorite book? And I have to tell you, I would like to add this point. It's a Greek book, actually. It's by an author named, she's an American, Madeline Miller, but the book is called Kirky, and it's about a demigod, and it's just I mean, it's. I also read her other book, A Song for Achilles, which is really good. My favorite is Greek historian fiction, so I'm really enjoying exploring all of that.
Oh, wonderful. And if I had seen right, the book that you're currently writing is based on some Greek historical sites and or things like that, or a place. Am I right?
Yes, correct. I will have a book by the end of the year that'll be done. I'm currently working on something different right now, but what you just said is accurate. I am going to be finishing a novel this year that has historical sites in Greece set up in a thriller. Yes. I have three already I've written. One takes place at Palamidi, in the ancient
Mm-hmm.
prison in Nafplio, where the 1821 revolution started. One
Yeah.
of the sites, and Nafplio was the first capital of Greece until 1834, when Athens took that title.
Mm-hmm.
When there were 7,000 residents in Athens at the time of 1834. I think it
Yeah.
was September of 1834 when they took the capital title. And I've toured Astros, where the warriors were meeting back in the early 1800s when they were taking Greece back. I've been doing so much research on Greece, and I'm so excited to see more.
Oh, wonderful. Are the other books that you've written always based in a particular location or something like that? I mean, or is some are literary fiction, just fiction that with the non-existent places.
Very good question. I would say that 80% of the novels I have written take place in Toronto. Take place in Toronto because that's where I'm from. I grew up in Toronto, in Canada. Many of my novels take place there. Now, the other 20% often take place where I'm living. So when I lived in Italy, I have a novel set in Italy. It's
Mm-hmm.
book 8 in the Sarah Roberts series. When I lived in Denmark, I have a novel set in Denmark. It's book 17 in the Sarah Roberts series. Right in the city I lived in. That I often will write where I live. And I've now set 3 books. I've been to Greece 3 times. I have 3 books set in Greece.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Let me see. I admire the, I know Lam says I admire the way you tell us that different things from your point of view. And Rose says she can write a book from scratch. She has written an ebook with 5,000 words
Oh,
published in Gumroad.
wonderful.
Yeah, it's wonderful to hear that, Rose. And Peter San may not have heard when you talked about the countries that you've been to, but maybe you can just give a summary. How many countries that you've been to and stayed? Just about how many?
Sure. 8 European countries,
8 European
and
countries.
8 European and Canada and the United States. My plan
Oh,
is to go to Russia one day. I would like to see Brazil, and tour more of the United Kingdom,
wonderful, wonderful,
as well as Australia.
wonderful. Now back to the publishing and printing kind of. Since most of them that you've done them in Canada. They've been published there, or do you have a publisher who's in the US and distributes to other places worldwide, or how does it go?
All
Or
of my
the agent
publishing.
handles it?
No, no,
Mhm.
no. All no. My agent handles everything. Yes, but it's all out of America. I don't have any Canadian publishers.
Okay.
All out of America.
Uh-huh. So, and all the marketing is done by the agent, and
Not
yeah.
necessarily. The agent only makes the sale. After that, the publisher or myself, we do the marketing.
Okay. So the publisher has to do the marketing, and you also have to chase after your books.
Correct. In fact,
Yeah.
unless you are one of the publisher's top authors, there usually
Mm-hmm.
isn't a very big marketing budget from the publisher.
Mm-hmm.
Often it's the author's job to have a platform to reach out to readers and so on. I have an
Okay.
extensive platform from Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and so on, and even now some TikTok. Uh, so it is my job to market. I did all of that on my own before I got a traditional publishing deal, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite used to marketing myself. And I also go to writers' conferences. I meet readers. I do book signings all across North America. I've done
Mm-hmm.
live TV interviews, which some of them I've featured on TikTok. Um, so I'm trying to stay relevant and stay in the reader's mind to always know my books are out there and new ones are coming.
So you want to say that those sales that are in millions have basically been all your effort?
I would say 99%, yes. The other, well, maybe 95%. The rest of it has
Mhm.
been my readers, word of mouth. Um,
Yeah.
Many readers will feature my books on their Facebook page, or I have many readers. Actually, some are following and watching right now, like Lacey, who loved my novels so much that she ran out and
Yeah.
told her mother and her sister, and they started reading them. And now every time I have a new release, Lacey's mother is on Facebook saying, "Oh, I can't," So word of mouth is a very big motivator. What happens is your grateful reader becomes like a billboard for you, shouting out your author's name, your book, and it's such a wonderful feeling, and it's so emotionally warming for me to know that people love my work that much. And so something else I do as an author is I include readers' names in my books. I give them
Okay.
characters. So when my book comes out, Lacey was a character in book 20 of the Sarah Roberts series. She was featured.
Mm-hmm. Ah, good.
I try and give back to
Ah,
the readers.
yeah, it's always good to give back to those who are doing something for you. It's always good, and it's
Nah.
good. That's good. I'm happy to hear that. Now, Rose has a question, and she heard that you visited all those European countries, the US and Canada, and she's feeling left out. She's from Africa. She's from Kenya.
Mm.
So she's asking, haven't you any plans to visit any African country?
Absolutely, I should have said that. Yes, I would love to see several. I don't know. I haven't done a lot of research on Africa. I have some friends from Africa, but
Mm-hmm.
mostly they're from South Africa. I have friends from Cape Town, um, but I've never been to Africa. I would love to visit. It is on my list for sure.
Ah, wonderful. So Rose has had that. Yeah. So yeah, quite wonderful. Quite wonderful.
I have a question
Um,
here. I have a question
yes,
here. If I could, I have several questions coming through, but I would love to make time for one here. It says, how many books? Rania is asking, how many books do you believe you will write before you turn 80 years old?
that was the question that was there right now when you just asked that question. So I think we are at par. So tell us.
I have no idea. That's 30 more years because I'm going to be 52 in 3 weeks. Wow. Well, if let's say I average five, let's go to low end, 5 books a year. That's 50 books a decade. So I'll probably pass the 200 book mark before I'll probably have written 200 by
And
by the time I hit 80. I have several commenters here, several readers are here saying, "Oh, hundreds
yeah,
for
continue.
sure."
Continue.
Nah,
Continue. Just you can just read the questions and answer the ones you want to.
nah. So I have several people saying that I'll be in the hundreds for sure. But I do believe before I hit 60, I'll pass my first 100 books.
Mhm. And that indicates that you have no plans of retirement at all.
No, I won't retire from something I find this isn't even a job for me. It's the thing is I don't work a single day. I write. I'm writing what's in my head. I'm literally just typing all day. I'm so excited to get into the scene and this is happening and that's happening. I'm like, oh my goodness, the time. I gotta stop and make dinner. I gotta keep writing. This is too good. And I'm having so much fun. And then when it's done and I put it online and my readers are like, oh, I love this, I love that. I'm already on to the next book. Retire? I don't think so. I'm having too much fun. I'll probably retire if I don't know. Maybe if arthritis came and I couldn't type or something, maybe I'd dictate at that point. I don't know. I don't think I'd ever retire.
It's good to hear that. Good. Yeah, someone said that if you do that which you love, you'll never have to work for the whole of your life.
That's the exact scenario.
Uh, you never call it work. You're just loving it and you're liking it as you go on. So you never call it work.
Nah,
You are in your, yeah, you're in your best place.
nah.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. That's
100%.
beautiful.
Fedisto.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. So you told us about your favorite novel, the one that you've written and the one that you've loved to read. Which is the best novel that others have liked? Or did you choose your favorite written book as based on the readership?
No, I chose my favorite written book from my heart, but I think that Dark Visions has been the best of the readers too.
Okay.
Um, because it's book one, the readers then said, "Oh, I've enjoyed this so much. I'm going to, read book two and book three, and to the point where, excuse me, I have so many readers that have read all 26 books in the series. Um, and I have actually several readers who message me and they've read it. They've read the series twice, or one particular reader who's read it three times. They have to keep reading it. So it's quite exciting.
Ah, good to hear that. So yeah, so have you been mentoring young writers in any way? I mean, specifically, intentionally.
I would say I have been mentoring, but not tutoring.
Hmm.
Meaning tutoring one on one? No, more mentoring in regards to going to writers' conferences, doing speeches, having. I've been featured author at several conferences, and so I even do a master class. I do an 8-hour master class on writing, and I did that a year ago in Calgary, Alberta, in Canada, and that master class went over very well. I had a great time. The writers got a lot out of it. I understand. I was in Portland, Oregon, at a writers conference called the Willamette Writers Conference, and my first class on because I'm a professional editor. I work for a publisher as an editor also, and I get manuscripts to edit in English. So
Hmm.
at the Willamette Writers Conference, I did an editing class, a self-editing class for an hour and a half. My class was sold out. They had the doors open, people piling in the back of the doors. Finally, the hotel staff had to come and say, "Guys, this is against fire regulations. We can't have this many people in this room." So it's
Hmm.
so exciting that when I go to these places, the response is so high. I really enjoy doing that.
Ah, okay, wonderful. And yes, because someone said as we step in years, like you're stepping in years, you can always look behind and lift someone up who is coming up.
Mm-hmm. I
So
believe
it's good.
I definitely
Yeah.
believe in giving back, giving back.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there's this couple commenters coming through here. One quick one I wanted to say, Katsika. Someone told me you're learning Greek. Yes, nah, I can confirm that I am learning Greek, but it is a slow process. Although today's interview is in English only.
Ah, okay. Yeah, good. So was a question, but I think she didn't you shared that. asking about your favorite book written by another author, and you said it's by a Greek author. The book is Cookie. What I think the
Nina, it's called Kirky, and it's actually an American author. Her name is Madeline Miller. She's a Greek historian, and it's
yeah.
called Kirky. See if I could show you an image of it maybe while we're talking. But
Okay.
it's a Greek. It's an amazing novel.
Is it a thriller also, or
It's historical fiction.
or historical? Historical, yeah. Good. Thank you very much. You're sharing with us some very important points here.
This, if you can see that, Kirky.
Kaki. Oh, so that's your favorite book. Okay, Rose, that's his favorite book.
That's my personal
Kaki.
favorite for the last 20 years. That book was
Uh-huh.
written expertly.
Good to hear that. So someone who is looking forward to be a professional author can read that to get what you got from it.
Nah.
Yeah. So what are your hobbies apart from writing, which is not is your best hobby?
Oh wow. Great question. I think I might be considered boring, but I'll explain. My best hobby, I like to read. So I read a lot. I read often
Mm-hmm.
for hours a day. Outside of that, I'm a big golfer. I've golfed
Yeah.
around the world. I did golf tournaments in Las Vegas. I do tournaments all over North America. I've placed
Mm-hmm.
first in one tournament once in a place called Horseshoe Valley in near Barrie, Ontario. I've even golfed in Denmark. I plan on golfing in Greece. And
Yeah.
there's several. I'll be golfing in Greece within the next 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. I have an
Okay.
Australian friend here who is going golfing with me. So golfing is one of my biggest pastimes. I have a designer golf bag with my name Jonas Saul on it. I've paid a
Okay.
lot of money for my golf clubs, and I travel with them. And
Yeah.
so golfing is my hobby.
It's something I have to learn at some point.
I've been golfing since I
Uh,
was 14.
Someone told me golfing is the game for the elite.
I've heard that golfing is an expensive game. In
Yeah.
Canada, you can pay up to $200 for one round. Um,
Yeah.
Copper Creek is a great place near Toronto. I remember paying 180 back 15 years ago for a round of golf. I Four of us golfed at a place in Huntsville, Ontario, and it was $1,000 for four people to play.
Whoa.
It
Whoa.
can be
Whoa.
expensive.
Uh-huh.
So I guess that's why it's for an elite.
Cool. Good, good. We have someone here who's asking, "Oh, I love the dual screen for the live. How do you?" Okay, he's asking about the dual live. It's so we explained some that in the beginning, and you can always go to see this video once I upload it on my YouTube. I plan on uploading it on my YouTube because I believe it can help a lot of people. So it's not just going to go like that. I'm going to upload it. So
Good.
whoever has asked about the dual, it was explained at the beginning of the video. Go watch it after we are off air.
Also, we should do a duo live and talk about your book that's coming out soon next time.
Yeah, that's we should plan on that sooner than later.
I will have questions for you and prepare, and I would love to know more about what you do and what we will find between the pages of this book you are producing. And when it is ready, I would love to do another interview after I've had a chance to read it. Is it in English?
It's in English.
Yay!
It's in it's in
Good,
English.
good. I can
So
read it.
so you'd like to do a book for an interview before, and then after you go through it, you do another one.
Yes, yes.
Ah, okay. Wonderful,
Let's do it.
wonderful.
No,
Uh-huh.
no, no.
So would okay, we'll talk about that to see how everything goes on. So, in Rosie saying, yeah, it's something that we talked about just previously, saying that in Kenya, golf is for the rich people. uh, yeah,
No.
so thank you very much. I really appreciate this interview. And maybe we will have some others, even not only for my book, but we can have some more others ahead since
Of
you're
course.
well advanced in that field. And if we get more questions or requests, then we are going to do some more, and we'll let the people be informed.
Excellent idea.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's good for today. I really appreciate the conversation. And I look forward for the other conversations that are going to be in the future. We have Dimitra Kakava who is saying amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, thank
good,
you,
good, good.
Dimitra. Thank you.
Kala,
So,
kala.
so Faristo para poli.
Parakalo.
Yeah, ne.
Ai
Kalo
eferisto.
apogevma.
Eferisto
Kalo
me.
apogevma.
Ne,
Okay,
okay.
kalo apogevma.
I don't know what that means.
That means good evening. Have a good evening. Kalo
Ah,
apogevma. Kalo
okay.
is good. Apogevma is evening.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Kalispera.
Yes, and Rose is saying thank you very much, and it's great stuff. Thank you very much, also Rose, and everyone else who's been here, who's been watching, asking questions, commenting in any way. We really thank you for being here with us this wonderful day, and we look forward to connecting sometime in the near future again. Thank you.
And I thank you also, Anthony, for your time.
Okay.